So you're engaged. Congratulations. We were going to talk about a couple things about what to wear to your engagement shoot. It's kind of stressful. You're paying someone to take photos of you, and you want to make sure you're not the one who screws up by wearing something weird and uncomfortable. So there's a couple things that I want to touch on, 10 in fact, and we are going to have you prepped, primed, and ready to be in front of the camera, even if that is something that terrifies you. So let's jump right in. Again, my name is Amanda Weldon. Welcome. If this is your first time coming to this channel, welcome to my channel. My blog is called Below the Blonde, and I would love for you to subscribe. And if you are coming back to view another video, it is so great to have you here. So diving right in, one of the first things that you want to do is make sure that you are prepared. So this has nothing to do with clothing, nothing to what to wear or what to bring. It's just be prepared and be early. Sometimes when it comes to shooting photography, we are already so uncomfortable, and nothing makes me more uncomfortable than driving in a car, looking at the GPS, realizing that I am late, realizing that I'm meeting someone, and that will have visceral effects. You will start sweating, you'll be nervous. Rae did such a good job. We did so many different things. I was completely unexpected. My nose started bleeding. I was sweating. It was very nerve-wracking. Scott did great. He laughed the whole time. I was just a mess. But how did you feel by the end of it? I felt great. I think these photos are gonna turn out really good. So this was our scene. It's so cozy. Be early and be prepped and primed. And speaking of that, make sure you are groomed. Not only you, but also your future groom. If your groom is someone who shaves and gets irritation, maybe suggest, hey babe, can you make sure that you shave tonight, not tomorrow, so that you don't have any rashes break out. You want to make sure that you've got your highlights done. If you're going to feel more comfortable with your hair a certain way, you want to make sure your nails are done so that they can get those close-up shots of your engagement ring, holding hands, things like that. And even making sure that your toes are done, because this is basically some tips, especially if you're doing a summer spring engagement shoot. So just basically look at yourself in the mirror and say, okay, yeah, we're gonna be our best self today. We're gonna get fully pampered before this shoot. So nothing is out of place. When it comes to wearing jewelry on your engagement shoot, definitely do it. You're automatically gonna have those jewels in terms of your engagement ring. But for jewelry otherwise, earrings, as well as necklaces, keep in mind all of these tips too are just basically guidelines, because everyone has their own style. But when it comes to shooting engagement photos, it's all about you. It's all about you two, your love, this new journey that you are forging together. So going with simple and timeless pieces is probably the best. I'm gonna drop some links to some pieces that I would suggest. When it comes to necklaces and earrings, I go with the simple gold jewelry because gold's my vibe, but if silver's your vibe, it's basically just the exact same, mimicking a silver or a rose gold effect. This is always something that's been suggested to me by some engagement photographers. Rae is the photographer that shot some photos for Scotty and I, and I'm gonna pop a lot of those below, as well as the photos that she has shot for other couples, basically just showing her vibe as a whole. But choosing those neutral tones really vibes well within a photo like an engagement shoot, because it's soft, it can be romantic, and you can really just get the flow of an environment, especially if it's outside. That being said, even though you are choosing soft tones, which sometimes vibe, maybe that's not your style at all. Basically being complementary to one another is the most important. So if you're gonna choose some soft tones like beiges and those minty greens and the earthy tones and the blues and all that kind of way of going with things, then you should both kind of go in that area of the palette. You don't want to match perfectly, because then you just look like complete weirdos. You look like Britney and Justin Timberlake circa the 2000s when they were wearing that jean attire. But you do want to be complementary, and complementary to your own style personally. If you choose to go with a pattern like a floral, definitely go for it. If that's something that draws you in and you really, really love, just keep in mind when it comes to patterns, you again don't want to pull focus away from the photos of you guys together. So when it comes to choosing a pattern, go with a more soft pattern. When it comes to florals or even any other type of geometric pattern, you want to just keep it a little bit more dimmed down than something super, super vibrant. And probably one of the most important tips that I could give you is be comfy, okay? Wear something that suits your body. Wear something that you would actually wear out, because that's going to speak to you guys. When you look at those photos, you're gonna look at them and say, oh yeah, that is actually me in my element with this person that I love, okay? So no matter who you are with, wear something that makes you feel comfortable and something that makes you feel like you. It could be something new for sure, or it could be something that you already have in your closet. And when you do wear something new, try to find an outfit with layers. So if you're wearing a little dress, for example, have a little jacket to go over top. For your guy, he may have a collared shirt, whether it be short sleeve because this is a summer and spring shoot, or a long sleeve for a fall and winter shoot, then have a cardigan to go over top. Layers are incredible when it comes to shooting an engagement shoot or any photography shoot when you're trying to maximize the amount of looks and different textures with the amount of time that you have for a photographer that you've paid for. So sometimes photographers will only do one look, and if you just toss up a layer, you've kind of tricked the system into having two different looks. Make sure it fits. That's tip number 6. You want to make sure what you're wearing fits. You don't want to put in that dream dress that you've been working for and working towards that doesn't quite fit yet and you feel a little uncomfortable with it. If you make sure it fits and everything is in the right place, then you are naturally going to feel way more comfortable in front of a camera, because sometimes being in front of a camera feels like you are under a microscope. So making sure it fits, and on the conversation of making sure it fits, we want to talk about undergarments as well. Whether you buy a brand new pair of Spanx or you have seamless underwear, this is something you really want to keep in check. A beige bra versus a bright purple bra underneath your white dress is something you definitely want to consider, because when it comes to editing out things like that, it's extra time and can be extra money for your photographer, and a little bit frustrating too that wasn't thought of. Making sure your bra fits, making sure you have the right size around your body, because if you don't, then it could really like suck you in and make you feel really uncomfortable during the shoot, and also again just making you feel like you are under a microscope. So make sure things fit and definitely be comfortable. Choose a pair of shoes that you know you can move in and dance in and be kind of fun in, because if you have a photographer that's really going to get a natural feeling out of your photos like these ones, you are going to be moving, spinning, dipping, jumping maybe in some cases. Hopefully it all works out, but have a chunkier heel for a woman. That's what I suggest, and for men as well. You can go with boots, you can go with loafers, you can go with dress shoes. Maybe not your dad's New Balances, but you can definitely still wear running shoes in some cases. It all depends on the vibe. However, this is just not a time to break in new shoes, and it's not a time to have super high stilettos, especially if you're shooting outside and you're on grass. You're gonna end up just aerating the lawn. Those lawns, the stilettos are just going to punch holes in the lawn, and it's going to be really uncomfortable. So, and again, just suiting the scene too. If you are doing maybe a museum scene and it's very elegant and very classy and you feel comfortable wearing your high heels, totally go for it. Just suit the scene, and if you do keep in mind that there's movement, pick shoes that could definitely give you the ability to do whatever you need to do in that photo shoot. Speaking of movement, for photos with a partner, if you guys are moving and your clothing is moving with you, it can create such a beautiful candid effect. So this kind of goes a little bit more when it comes to skirts and dresses, or even flowy tops, the women's side of things. So I'll show you a couple examples of that. If you have clothing that moves with you, it can create a really whimsical and romantic feel. So consider choosing something that flows a little bit nicely away from the body. Inherently, that's going to make you feel really comfortable, that nothing's hugging you anywhere where you don't really want to show off. But having that movement is such a great way to really bring some character and flow into your photos. Last but not least, and probably one of the most important things when it comes to a photo, like an engagement shot, a wedding shot, anything that you want to show people for a really long time or you want to look back on, is choose items that are timeless and classic. Don't go for trendy pieces for your engagement shoot. Timeless and classic pieces will carry you through time, just like it is insinuating. Those are the pieces that specifically you know you love and you have loved for a really long time, or even those moments where you show someone who's older and they say, wow, that's so classic, that's so classy. If you need some examples of those, I'm going to list a classic Pinterest board below as well inside of the comments below, and you can check those out. But those are my top tips for if you're shooting an engagement photo shoot, you've never done it before, you want to feel comfortable, and you just aren't sure what to wear. These have been a couple of examples. Keeping in mind, the best thing to do is be yourself, dress like yourself, and choose a scene that would totally make sense for you. This is about you. It isn't about what society says you should look like in an engagement shoot. It doesn't have to be that Pinterest perfect looking couple. It can be you guys just enjoying a day in the life. So this again, this is officially over, my notes just fell. This again is a part of a series. Scotty and I are also talking about how to choose a photographer specifically for an engagement shoot in another video. I'm gonna link that up above, and I would love for you to subscribe because more videos like this, of course, are going to be coming out. Again, congratulations, and I love you guys to the moon and back. We'll see you in the next one.